Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Palo Alto, where we come to transform ourselves and each other and the world. It's really good to be together. Let's take a moment to actually be able to hear each other. If you will unmute yourself for just a few moments to say and hear the hellos from everybody, let's greet each other.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Everyone's doing.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Hope.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Hi there.
Good morning. I'm once
again.
again not hearing the service.
Hi, Marilyn.
Greetings, everyone.
Hello.
Hi, everybody.
Good morning.
So good to see everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Hi, Mary.
We're gonna play Santa for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Bob.
Hello, hello.
Oh,
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
goodbye.
Oh. Mute again. And keep your video and audio off until the very end. At our benediction, we will turn it on so that we can see each other and hear each other as we say our blessing. Right now, you can see the order of service by following the link that's in the chat. And there's links there to lots of information, signing up for Hotel de Zinc for one, and all the stuff that's going on today, this week, and in the weeks to come. So follow that link. Now there's something else that's important for you to do as our service gets started. I often consult with Joy for ideas about the service, and as Water Communion was coming, I said, you know, Water Communion, people are going to bring water and we'll pour it together and everything, but doing something all together, it's such an important part of this ritual, and it doesn't feel like we can be connected in the same way. I want everybody to do something all together. And she said, well, everybody could flush their toilets at exactly the same time. So I get a lot of advice from Joy, but it's not always advice that I think I can take. However, it did give me an idea that we could all drink water. So we are all going to drink water later in the service after, at the end of our Water Communion. So if you don't have a little water by you right now, I encourage you to get some soon before we get to the Water Communion. And if you're like me, you probably don't want it in a glass because it's near your computer, but you know, take the risk that you must take. And now, as we begin our service, watch for the special guest in our prelude. Let's begin. I light our chalice with words from Gregory Pelly. And so we gather from the ebb and flow of our lives, thirsty for connection to ourselves, thirsty for connection to others, thirsty for connection to the larger life. As we light this chalice, may all who gather here be filled with joy and hope, filled with compassion and love. Here, may we be filled so that we may pour ourselves out into the world. With our centering words each week, we draw on one of the sources of our living tradition. Today, that source is the poet Robert Frost from his poem, Going for Water. Richard Haidt introduced me to this poem and this stanza, and it made me think of how we join together to discover what there is to discover in this life. Each laid on other a staying hand to listen ere we dared to look. And in the hush we joined to make, we heard, we knew we heard the brook. Let us follow the sound of the bell into silence. Please join in singing For the Beauty of the Earth. The words are in your order of service.
Sharpie, you were going to show me one last spiritual practice. Don't worry, I didn't forget. I'm going to show you my personal favorite spiritual practice. Is it hard? Yoga was too hard. And I couldn't memorize prayers, though you said it was okay if I just read them out loud. And I don't want something that's too hard. I don't think it'll be too hard for you. Is it something I can do with other people? Sitting meditation and mindfulness was too much inside my own head. It's something we can do with other people. Wait, you said we're going to do it? You're going to do it too? I noticed you didn't do any of the other spiritual practices with me. You just told me how to do them. We're going to attend a Sunday service with our congregation. Wait a minute, that's a spiritual practice? Of course it is. And this week we get to attend the annual water communion service. Remind me what a water communion is. Water communion is where we each share a bit of water symbolizing who we are or where we're from. It's a feminist reinterpretation of an old religious ritual showing that we're embodied beings where our intersubjectivity is revealed not through some disembodied intellectualism, but through our very embodiment. Wait a minute, I just heard the bell. They must be starting the service already. Mr. and Ms. Bear, Elephant, Nanas, hurry up. We don't want to be late for water communion. Yeah, hurry up, you guys.
Well, this is exciting. Looks like they're all coming over for water communion. That's really a nice company for me and Dan and Paul. If you have other joys besides that one to share or sorrows, please do post them in the chat, or if email works better for you, send them to joyconcern@uucpa.org, and I will share them aloud right now. Before I get into the sorrows of our own lives right here in this community, I just want to speak aloud some of the many sorrows that I know are in our hearts this week. It's been a difficult week for our beautiful state, for its forests and air. There's a lot of trouble in Kenosha, Wisconsin, and Portland, Oregon that's on our minds. And we hold all these beings in our hearts as we gather. So many concerns, joys, ongoing wishes. So let's take just a moment of silence. We will have a longer meditation shortly to expand our attention, our compassion outwards. But let us just take a moment to reflect on what we have heard, to hold it with reverence and love, and to offer all of our good intentions to the beings affected. Blessed be. Let's sing together again. Come sing a song with me. Will you join me in singing?
walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time.
I'd like to invite you to join me in a brief time of meditation. I've called it flowing meditation because I'm thinking about the way that water moves through our lives, in and out of our bodies, in and out of our skies and rivers and the bay and the ocean, how everything flows together, and that what flows out of us eventually flows back in, and what comes in eventually goes back out. It's the same with air, of course, and that's exactly the practice that is used in what is called Tonglen meditation by the Tibetan Buddhist tradition. Tonglen means taking and sending, or you might say receiving and giving. And when we do Tonglen, as we breathe in, we feel like we're breathing in all the things that worry us, all the people suffering that we see, or the things that are bad in the world. With compassion, we draw them into ourselves as if we could draw them away from others. And then we breathe out peace and love and strength. Now, what is so amazing about this practice is it's kind of counterintuitive. When you see somebody who's suffering, of course, you may feel compassion, you may want to put a hand on their shoulder or offer them help. But we kind of we recoil, we step away from actually bringing their suffering into ourselves. And Tonglen is a way of practicing. Just try feeling like you're just drawing it into yourself and breathing out instead good things. And it's based, well, I think it's based in fact, and you'll see how it works for you. I think it's also expresses a kind of faith that, like water, what flows into us will flow out, what flows out will flow in. And so when we practice compassion for others, we feel strength and compassion in ourselves. So let's try it now for a moment. Close your eyes if you're comfortable doing that. And just notice your breathing. You don't have to control it, it'll just happen, so just notice what it's doing. And then let your mind just float to someone you care about, someone close to you whom you're worried about, who you know they're suffering in some way. And once you have them fixed in your mind, on the next in-breaths for a while, just imagine that with breath you could just pull everything that is hurting them right out of them. And with your out-breath, you're breathing only good things, peace and good feeling, and strength and wisdom to them. And now that we've established that kind of flow with somebody we know and care about, maybe broaden that to people like them. People you don't know, but people who may be suffering in a similar way. They're sick or they're scared, they're grieving, there's violence where they live. Whatever is bothering them, just realize, oh, that's a problem for a lot of people, a lot of beings. And see if you can just do that breathing in and breathing out for all of those beings. This is very challenging, but can you think of somebody you dislike or don't trust, or maybe think of as an enemy? And this isn't about trying to like them or trust them. It's just about trying to imagine, what kind of suffering might they be experiencing? And as you breathe in, just see if you can pull that suffering away from them and give them peace and strength, courage, and all good things. Now we've softened so that this flow can occur between us and many people, maybe even somebody who scares us, someone we don't like. Let's see if we can just hold the whole world. Just imagine we can draw in everything that's troubling, frightening, hurting anybody out there, and send back to them just goodness and love. Just flowing out of us like the air out of our lungs, like the rain from the clouds, like the river rushing by. There's plenty, plenty for everybody. Thank you. Hi, everybody. I heard you might be coming over. I'm so glad. I see Possum and Nana's hi, and Sharpie Ann and Elephant and Mr. and Ms. Bear. It's really great to have you here at our water communion. So I know that this is Sharpie Ann's favorite spiritual practice, one of your favorites. Maybe you don't all know what it's about. So mostly with this spiritual practice, we'll show you. So I'm not going to talk a lot, but I just wanted to tell you a little bit. So you see all these bottles here? These are all, this is all water that people at UUCPA brought. Mostly from their homes, maybe some other places that they've been, and they told me some of the places that it comes from, like their garden or their kitchen, or some travels, like some is from Lake Michigan and from Stanislaus County, and other places that people have traveled. And all of it is going to get poured into this bowl. Dan is going to pour it into this bowl. It's all going to be all together because it's all water. And communion means being together. That's exactly what we're doing. So just like we send our water here, we all come from different places and we have different experiences and we're different people. And then we join together here. We have communion together, and just like our waters mix, we mix our lives, and we know that we're part of one thing. Now, it's a little harder for the humans to be together than it is for you. I mean, you look around and you see nobody's in this big room except for me and Paul, who's managing the camera for us. Hi, Paul. And Dan, who's going to come over and pour out the water, because we can't have more than that many people in a room right now because, you know, COVID and we breathe and all that. So we can't snuggle close the way you can right now. But this water reminds us that we're together anyway, not just with the people in our houses, but we're all together. So I hope you enjoy it and that you feel like I do and Sharpie Ann does, that this is a very calming and joyful spiritual practice to feel the way that we all come together. All right. So the first water The first water that Dan pours in will be from our water communions of many years. We poured some of last year's water onto the plants in our memorial garden, and we saved some for child dedications. That's like our past and our future. And then we saved some for this year that Dan just poured in. We do this every year, so that links us to the distant past and the distant future. And we have water in this bowl, therefore some molecules of water that were gathered many years ago in this congregation. And now we add new water, and as Dan pours in everybody's water, I'm going to share words that people have chosen to guide them for the year to come. They might not match up with exactly which bottle is going in. That's okay. We're all mixing together and we all learn from each other's words. And if you didn't bring any water, well, that big pitcher there, that's Hetch Hetchy water from our sink right here at church. And that water is going to go in there also. That's from you. Some words. 45 tears for the State of the Union. Let justice flow down like water, somebody says, and peace like an ever-flowing stream, someone else shared. We have people guiding their lives this year with endurance, resilience, acceptance, focus, phoenix, safety, in person. We have a wish for forbearance, to have fun, to have world peace. No corona, good air. Endurance and fun and friends. Deliberate is one person's word. Metamorphosis is another. Courage, kindness, patience, gratitude, persistence, faith, as in, this person writes, I have faith our country will recover from this horrible year and be better for it. We have water here in memory of a water conservation advocate named David Del Porto, who died a few months ago. We have the phrase, eyes on the prize. Comfort, perseverance, hope. Breathe in the air, be here now. Steadfast, perseverance, hope. Water springs eternal and brings life to all living things. And we have this wish, be of good health and happiness. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, everybody who brought this water. Thank you, all you good stuffies and puppets, for sharing this ritual and enriching it. And we're going to do one more thing. That water that you have to drink, this water and the water that we brought here and the water inside our bodies and the water that falls from the sky and the water that fills up the ocean and the water that bubbles up in springs from the earth, it's all the same water. It's all been in all of those places, this glass that you're holding right now, and it will go to all those places in the future. So let us feel connected to one another and all of those waters everywhere that are all one as we drink all together. And as a prayer, a blessing for all of us, I have these words from Lucille Clifton. If you were on the board, you heard this week as Dan reminded me of this beautiful, beautiful poem that is so much like a prayer. Blessing the boats at St. Mary's. May the tide that is entering even now the lip of our understanding carry you out beyond the face of fear. May you kiss the wind, then turn from it, certain that it will love your back. May you open your eyes to water, water waving forever. And may you, in your innocence, sail through this to that. Amen. And now is a time for another spiritual practice, another kind of giving and receiving. As a part of the Free Church tradition, we accept no money from any government body, nor do we receive money from any ecclesiastical authority, any church authority, in order that we may remain free to govern ourselves. In addition to their annual pledges, each week our members and friends may choose to give an additional contribution as a public witness that we are and shall remain a free church. And with our offering, we also assert that we are part of the interdependent web of all existence. If you missed the week that we showed our interdependence by supporting our justice partner for August, Ability Path, you can still give to them as well. The order of service gives a QR code and link, and also information on using text to give via Give Lively. Thank you. Let's join in singing now. Swimming from the Other Side is in your order of service. You can see all the words there and follow along with the recording that Veronica and I made. great big dipper. We are washed by the very same rain. We are swimming in the stream together, some in power and some in pain. We can worship this ground we walk on, cherishing the beings that we live beside. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. As we extinguish our chalice and go forth, may we all pour out into the world all the loving intentions we have spoken and held in our hearts today. And may that abundance flow back to us and through us. Please stay after the benediction, and we will be randomly assigned to breakout rooms. BJ Wyszynski, our membership engagement coordinator, will be at the virtual welcome table. That's the main room. So do visit her there if you're just getting to know the congregation, and she can help you out. That's also the room to return to if you'd like to move on to a new breakout room at any point. And the rooms will stay open for about half an hour. Now, please unmute yourself and turn on your video so that we can hear one another and see one another as we say our benediction together. I'll give you a moment to do that.
Waiting.
Go out to the world in peace. Good courage. Hold fast to what is good. No one evil for evil. Strengthen the faint-hearted. Support the weak. Help the suffering. Rejoice in beauty. Speak love, word and deed. Honor. Amen.